Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another Through the Bible episode. Today's chapter 17 in the book of Proverbs. Better to gnaw on a bit of dry crust in peace than a great feast where there's stress. Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with stress. Sometimes it's better just to have that quiet meal by yourself and to be in a house where just everyone's fighting and stressed out, right? Okay. A wise servant will be put in charge of a child who behaves badly and will take a share of the inheritance like one of the family. Silver is purified in the crucible, gold in the furnace, but motives of the heart are judged by the eternal. And remember in chapter 15 also, we learned that it said all the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but God looks at your heart. So it's the motives of our heart that are judged by him. And fire purifies silver and gold, but the trials of life show what you're really made of. I can remember being in Marine Corps boot camp, and when the stress started coming on, the real nature of people started coming forward. One time they flipped over everything and went crazy, and they were trying to see who had taken chow, little crackers from the chow hall. You weren't allowed to keep any food on you. And sure enough, all the stress starts happening. One kid runs right up in front of the drill instructor. Oh, I know people who have crackers on them. And his true metal came forth under stress. He's going to throw everybody under the bus as soon as stress hits. But stress is a powerful thing in that it reveals your true character. And in the Bible, it basically proves whether you have faith or not, whether you really are going to stick with God or not. Jesus said that there are some people who turn away from the gospel because of trials and persecutions. As soon as trial or persecution comes because of this, they just forget about it, man. I signed up for the Get Rich Quick program. You know, the forgiveness of sins sounded great. That whole living in heaven forever and avoiding hell sounded great, but people picking on me because I read the Bible, I'm not with that. Or not being the most popular person in school anymore, nah. You know, or being laughed at. You know, or think about the people in Muslim-dominated countries who actually get their heads cut off for being Christians, or in Muslim-dominated countries where you cannot open a barber shop or a bookstore or a car repair store or any business unless you affiliate with Islam and Muslim. So if you're a Christian, you don't get the business license. You can't own property in that street. So people around the world face a lot of persecutions for the Bible. And God uses stress and trials to test our heart, to see what's really in us. Okay, silver is purified in the crucible, gold in the furnace, but motives of the heart are judged by God. Wrongdoers perk up when listening to gossip, and liars lean in close to hear talk of mischief. Anyone who makes fun of the poor disparages his maker, and those who celebrate another's misfortune will not escape punishment. Let me see this in the King James Version. Whoso mocketh the poor reproaches his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. So another theme we have in Proverbs is that God is looking out for the poor. Matter of fact, when you pick on the poor, you're disparaging God. You're mocking your Creator. And whoever laughs at another's calamities, you won't avoid it. So it's like everybody in this world's like, where's the justice? According to the book of Proverbs, God is looking out for the poor, and he's keeping track of those who are laughing and mocking others' misfortunes. So anyone who makes fun of the poor mocks his maker. All right. Grandchildren are the crowning glory and ultimate delight of old age, and parents are the pride of their children. Elegant speech sounds odd when it comes from a fool, and a lie on the lips of a leader is even more out of place. Elegant speech sounds odd when it comes from a fool, and a lie on the lips of a leader is even more out of place. All right, let's go to verse 8, Proverbs chapter 17. A gift is as a precious stone. It prospers wherever someone turns with it. Okay, verse 9. Those who forgive faults foster love, but those who repeatedly recall them ruin relationships. Another translation is whoever overlooks an insult fosters love, but gossip and division separates the best of friends. So basically, when you love someone, you're not looking at all their faults. You just overlook it, and it fosters a loving relationship. But if you're constantly repeating matters, you can divide even the closest friends and family. And a couple verses right in a row, it's against gossip. Don't bring up someone's mistakes over and over and over again, especially if you want to foster a loving relationship. And that's the mistake that a lot of young couples or newlyweds or even older married couples make, that, well, remember last week when you did this? Or remember, you're not fostering love when you're constantly bringing up faults and mistakes that people made. But whoever covers faults fosters love. And they say love covers a multitude of sins. It's kind of like that saying, love is blind, right? All right. A single correction makes more lasting impression on one who is wise than 100 lashes to a fool. So if you're a wise person and someone corrects you with one little correction, it has a huge impact. You take the correction, you make the adjustment, you learn from it, you move on. And that's more effective for a wise person to hear one correction than 100 lashes on a fool. Okay, evil people are determined to rebel, and so a merciless messenger will chase them down. A merciless messenger will chase them down. Better to face a mother bear stripped of her cubs than encounter a fool caught up in his foolishness. Those who repay evil for good and repay good for evil with evil, destruction and calamity will never leave their house. So if you're repaying someone who does you good, repaying them with evil, that's just going to bring a cycle of total darkness on you. Picking a fight is like leaking water from a cracking dam, so walk away before an argument bursts out. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore leave off contention before it be meddled with. And that's basically like right in the beginning of a quarrel, when you start seeing a little bit of water coming out the dam, plug it up immediately, fix it. Stop a fight right in the beginning before it all breaks out. Okay, so that's just the wisdom, right? Both of these deeply offend God. Someone who acquits the guilty and one who condemns the innocent. And what was the famous American saying? I'd rather let 1,000,000 guilty people go free than put one innocent person behind jail. But both of those things offend God. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent. So once again, we see that he's really active and working behind the scenes, and all these things, these social injustice that people are always up in arms about, it upsets him too. Remember, mocking the poor, moving the boundary of the widow, acquitting the guilty, letting the condemning the innocent. All these things God really sees and is looking at. Even if fools had the means to obtain wisdom, they would not be able to benefit from it. Okay, right back into it. We were talking about Proverbs 17, verse 15. Both of these deeply offend the eternal. They offend the Lord. One who acquits the guilty and one who condemns the righteous, or condemns the innocent. 15. He that justifies the wicked and he that condemns the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. Even if fools had the means to obtain wisdom, they would not be able to benefit from it. A true friend loves regardless of the situation, and a real brother exists for hard times. Only a fool shakes hands on a deal and guarantees repayment of someone else's loan. A person who loves sin loves a fight, and one who builds a grand entrance dares others to tear it down. A crooked-hearted people never recognize anything good, and those who distort the truth court disaster. He that has a forward heart finds no good, and he that has a perverse tongue falls into mischief. Having a fool for a child is a misery, and there's no joy in parenting a fool. A joy-filled heart is a curative balm, but a broken spirit hurts all the way to the bone. This is one of my favorite verses, Proverbs 17:22. A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. So a cheerful heart can get you through hard times. It can get you through a lot of stuff. but who can bear a broken spirit? So keep your morale up at all times, no matter what. A wicked person accepts a bribe under the table to derail course of justice. Those who understand look to wisdom for guidance, but fools fasten their eyes on some distant horizon. And the other translation says that a fool is looking to the end of the earth for answers, but the wise have wisdom right in front of them. So basically, wisdom is right here in front of you, right here in the scriptures, or right there in the counsel of a parent or a friend. But a fool is looking to the ends of the earth to find the answer. All right. Foolish children irritate their fathers and embitter their mothers. Also know this, it is wrong to penalize those who do what is right, or to lash the noble because of their integrity. So we got this in the book of Proverbs, this theme going on, that God is really looking out for those with integrity, that he knows social justice, that he's aware of it, that whoever mocks the poor reproaches their maker, right? If anybody picks on poor people, they're mocking their maker, right? So God understands all these things that are social injustices.
Where are you, Mom? Where are you? Oh, yeah.
Those with knowledge know when to be quiet, and those with understanding know how to remain calm. That was a theme we're seeing also, too, throughout the scriptures in Proverbs, that the wise sometimes know when to just not say anything, not to retort back, and use that wisdom that God's given you to just remain quiet at certain times. Those with knowledge know when to be quiet, and those with understanding know how to remain calm. The last verse, Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool who keeps quiet is considered wise, for when he keeps his mouth shut, he appears clever. All right, now what really jumped out to me at this chapter was how God is aware of the social injustices, and even when people are mocking the poor, they're really picking on him, and that he's involved in all that. He's upset when the guilty are acquitted or when the innocent are condemned. So he's with us in this world, those of us who are downtrodden or poor or wrongfully judged. He's in your corner. He's got your back, and he's on the side of good continually all through that. The other one really that sticks out to me too is how love covers. He that loves covers a transgression, but whoever repeats a matter separates the best of friends. So you got to look at your life and say, which one of those am I? Am I the one who's looking to just foster love and not repeat a matter but cover it, like don't bring up someone's offense? Or am I the one trying to divide the closest of friends, repeating arguments or strife? And that's a sure way that tanks newlyweds, seasoned couples, and just couples in general, is if one of them will constantly bring up the faults of the other. But if someone really loves someone, they're going to foster love and not repeat a matter. But look at what it says. Whoever repeats a matter can separate even the closest of friends. So don't associate with gossips, and don't be that person who is bringing up the past all the time. It's a sure way to separate the closest of friends. And also know, out of all this chapter, just know that God is with the poor. Anyone who makes fun of the poor mocks his maker. So when you're picking on the people who have cheaper clothes than you or a worse car, you're picking on God, because that person's made in the image of God, and God feels their struggle and their pain. And also the second part of that verse went on to say that whoever rejoices over someone else's calamity, they certainly won't escape calamity themselves. So once again, you see in the book of Proverbs, if I could just shine a spotlight on this, that God is with the poor, and he's with those going through calamity, and he's also going to fight the fight for social justice. He's in the people's corner. He's in the innocent's corner, the poor's corner. He's in your corner if you're going through some kind of calamity. He's got your back. He's on your side. All right? So without any further ado, that's pretty much the end of chapter 17 in Proverbs. So live a wise life, right? Have a good day.